Welcome to episode 100 of the Health with Hashimoto's podcast. Oh my goodness, 100. When I first started out almost 2 years ago, I was excited to get episode 1 out, and then episode 10 felt so big, and now we're at 100. Over 50,000 downloads of the different episodes. This is just blowing my mind, and I want to thank you so very much for listening, for downloading these episodes, putting in your earbuds or putting on your Bluetooth speaker or whatever, and listening and improving your health, growing in your journey, in your health journey, so that you can have better health with Hashimoto's. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you for listening. Thank you for every single review and rating. Every single one matters a lot. Thank you for sharing this podcast with your friends, telling people about it. I've had people tell me that their spouse found the podcast and gave it to them. I've had people tell me that their mom or it's usually their mom. I was going to say their mom or dad. It's usually their mom that finds it and gives it to them. Thank you for sharing my words and helping other people improve their health through my voice and through the education that I provide. So today, I'm going to give you the top 10 most popular episodes of all time and a little bit of each one so that if you've missed one, you can go back. Because obviously, if they're the top 10 out of 100, they're the things that people want to hear the most. So if you've missed any of these, now you know what to go and listen to. All right, so from backwards order, so number 10 all the way up to the top popular one. Number 10, and it's actually like 10 and 11, is 60 and 61. Now, 60 and 61 are the episodes where I went through all of the root causes and helped you figure out your own root causes. So they are popular episodes. The action step, I'm going to try to give you an action step for each one. But before I say that, I want to say, please don't get overwhelmed. Do not do all 10 action steps. Just figure out which episode that you need to listen to or that like speaks to you the most, or you need to go review, or you didn't listen to the first time. Pick an episode and go to that one. The action steps for episodes 60 and 61 is to figure out your own root cause. If you do not figure out your own root causes of Hashimoto's, you can't make effective progress. You cannot know exactly what to do going forward to improve your health. If you don't know your root causes and take action on them, then you're just going to be floundering around waiting for your doctor to increase your medication dose, and then eventually your thyroid's going to be dead. I've heard from people, and that's exactly what their doctor says. Well, we're going to give you this medication, and after a couple of years, your thyroid will not be around anymore. It'll be dead, and then you'll just be on medication for life. Easy peasy. I'm like, wait, what? What? No. Let's support your body. Let's help your body, figure out what's going on so that your immune system isn't going haywire. So episode 60 and 61, figuring out your root causes, and then your action step is to take action on your root causes. Episode or most popular episode, top episode, how am I going to say that? Top episode, number 9. What is a flare? It is episode number 27. A flare or a flare up is when your Hashimoto's gets worse, and it maybe get worse and stays worse, or maybe it flares up and then it flares back down. The action step for that, again, it's look for the root causes. Specifically, when you are in a flare, you want to evaluate what changed. What brought this on? Was there a simple or a single action? Was it stress? Was it a season change? Was it, a diet change? What was it for you that brought on the flare? And it's always addressing the root action or the root cause so that you can take action. Okay, top episode number 8 is number 44, and that is the diet maze. In that episode, I helped you figure out what diet is right for you, because there's so many different diets, and every single person or every single diet has somebody telling you, if you have an autoimmune condition, you need to try this. This is going to work for you. Well, will it? In episode 44, I help you figure out what will work for you, because you are unique. You're a bio individual. There's nobody else on earth exactly like you, with your circumstances, with your environment, with your everything. You are unique. And so in episode 44, I walk you through how to evaluate what type of diet to implement for yourself, and then how to evaluate how it's going. That is episode 44. Number 7 is episode 21, which is all about metabolism and your weight. One of the very top complaints with Hashimoto's and hypothyroid is my metabolism slowed down and my weight increased. What can I do? So episode 21 is all about that. It's what you can do to increase your metabolism naturally and how you can lose weight. So episode 21. And in the action step, I talked about what's called the Metabolism Essentials Stack. Now I'm going to talk about a couple of products in several of these top 10 episodes. And the Metabolism Essentials Stack has a few of those in it. Protandim NRF2 is my number one recommended product. It's 5 herbs. It's very natural and it activates your body to do what your body is supposed to do. That's always the goal, right? Well, your body creates antioxidants and we need those to fight all of the bad stuff. Your immune system needs to have like the ingredients, it needs the weapons, right? Antioxidants are some of the most powerful weapons that your immune system has, and we want to help your immune system do the right thing with them. So Protandim NRF2 is my number one recommended thing. 5 herbs, like I said. It has been proven to lower oxidative stress by an average of 40% in just 30 days, which is phenomenal. In older people who have more oxidative stress, it actually lowers it even more because it gets you down to a baseline to producing your own antioxidants so that you can reduce the oxidative stress. That's kind of like, I look at oxidative stress like the browning of a banana or the rusting of a cow. No, the rusting of a car. It's happening at a cellular level on you, every single cell. And we do not want that because that causes disease and aging. So we want to get rid of that. Protandim NRF2 is part of the essential or the metabolism essential stack that I talk about in episode 21. And also there is Protandim NRF1, which activates your mitochondria. What are the mitochondria? They're the powerhouse, they're the energy producer of the cell, and it activates that because if you want more energy, well, you have to energize every single little cell in your body, right? So that is what we talked about in episode 21. So I want to give you the overview now so that when, the other episodes mention it, then you already have an idea. So all links, of course, will be down in the show notes. The top most popular episode, number 6, is episode number 5. And that is all about medications. And of course, this one's popular because when you go to the doctor and you get a diagnosis of hypothyroid or Hashimoto's, they just give you medications. So you want to know about your medications. And in episode 5, I teach you about T4 medications and T3 medications. What's the difference? And I hope that, I can't remember exactly what I said in episode 5, but I hope that I released you of any shame. A lot of people tell me they want to get off their medications. Like that is their number one goal. But just know this, if your thyroid is not producing the little ignition switch for every single cell in your body, it's okay to take that as a medication. If you're not getting something in your diet, then we supplement. If your body is not creating what it's supposed to create, like insulin for somebody who's diabetic, if it's not creating insulin, then you need to have that as a medication. It's the same thing if your thyroid is not producing enough thyroid hormone. It's okay to take it as a medication. I want you to be able to release any shame or guilt that you might carry in needing a medication. It's okay. If your body isn't producing it, or if it's not converting the T4 to T3, it's okay to take a medication. Obviously, we want your body to do what your body is supposed to do. Creating your own T4 and enough of it and converting that to T3 and enough of it is obviously the ideal. But if you're not there right now, it's okay to take the medication. So that is episode 5, which was the top number 6. It's so confusing because it's 5 and 6, and that's going to happen again. Okay, the most popular episode number 5 was my story. It's episode number 1 where I share my story of what I went through in finding my diagnosis and how much I really, really, really did not want a thyroid diagnosis. And I especially did not want an autoimmune story. Your action step for that, well, I did not tell you at the time because I didn't know that I would have an app someday. I have an app. So your action step after listening to my story is to come to the app and share in the community. If you're comfortable with it, share your story. The community right now, it is still teeny tiny. Come over to the community, introduce yourself, share your story, and let's support each other. So number 1 is my top 5 episode of all time. Number 4 is number 11, podcast episode number 11, and that is 4 foods to avoid. And like I said back in the diet one, which was 44, figuring out what you can eat and what is going to help you combat any inflammation and any disease process in your body, that's a huge topic. So it is the 4th most popular episode, and that is 4 foods to avoid. The 4 foods are gluten, dairy, soy, and sugar. And I explain why in each one, about each one, how to know if you should take it out of your diet, if you should try that, and how to evaluate. So the 4 foods to avoid, that is episode number 11. And each one, reducing it, the goal is to get your body working like your body is supposed to work, right? And since you are a unique person, what works for somebody might not work for you. It's all figuring out what is going to be the right choice and the right step for you. Episode number 4 is the 3rd most popular of all time. And episode 4 is about natural remedies for Hashimoto's. And this one did not surprise me at all that it was number 3, because people want natural remedies with COVID especially, but I feel like throughout time. But with COVID especially, people have been looking for ways to help their bodies do what their bodies are supposed to do without pharmaceuticals. There has been a giant schism between people and the pharmaceutical industry. People are less and less trustworthy of what drugs are going to do for them. And I am really sorry for everything that happened during COVID. And, it's not just COVID though. I feel like we've been leading up to this. COVID just sped up this distrust and exposing the problems within the pharmaceutical world and within Western medicine, because there are significant problems. But people want to feel better and people are wanting to do things naturally. So in episode number 4, I talk about those natural remedies. And again, it's going to the root causes. It's figuring out, what is causing your immune system to go haywire. And when you address that cause, you're going to be able to fix or to help what's downstream from that. If you're on the stream and all of a sudden you see a whole lot of little yellow rubber duckies floating towards you, you can scoop them out and that's great. You're going to clean up the stream. But unless you go and find who's dumping the rubber duckies into the stream, you're not going to really make a difference, right? It's the same thing with your health. You can address the symptoms as they are and you can try to feel better. And every time something pops up, you can address that. But unless you get to the root of it, unless you attack and address what's causing it, you're not going to make an effective change. We have to address the root causes. And so a lot of those natural remedies are addressing the root causes. Vitamin D is one of them that I mentioned in that episode, because vitamin D is one of the things that has a direct correlation with antibody levels. Vitamin D, we call it a vitamin. It's actually a hormone, and I have dedicated several different episodes to vitamin D. You can check those out. Vitamin D is huge in your immune system, and we want to make sure that you get enough of it. You can make some from sun exposure, especially if you are in the summer. But if you're always wearing sunscreen, or if you're always wearing protective clothing, or if you live north of a certain latitude or longitude line, whichever way it goes across the globe, not up and down. If you live north of that, you can't make enough from the sun exposure, even if you were outside naked all day long in the wintertime. You literally cannot make enough. So vitamin D supplementation is one thing I talked about. And then I believe I also talked about selenium and the importance of making sure you're taking a multi-nutrient. You can call them multivitamin. I like multi-nutrient because I want vitamins and I want minerals and I want adaptogens, which are the things that help your body adapt to stress and respond to stress better. So again, what I take is the Protandim NRF2 and NRF1. I talked about that a little bit ago. And then I also take a vitamin D all winter long. I take a little bit more. And then in the summer, I take a smaller dose of the vitamin D, and I do get outside. And then I also take a multi-nutrient, which provides, the building blocks that my body needs, the selenium that it needs, because you need a specific amount of selenium to have a well-functioning thyroid. And there's a lot of things that you need a specific amount of. So I take a multi-nutrient every single day. And I talk about those natural remedies in episode 4. I do have a couple other episodes that I talk about, supplements and herbs and things like that. There is also a bit about that in the Holistic Hashimoto's course, because I am talking about that genetic component when you're in the course. We talk about each and every single aspect of the autoimmune condition, gut aspect or gut root cause, a genetic root cause, and then triggers. And so in the course, I am talking to you about nutrigenomics, which is taking nutrition and targeting your genetics, turning on and off genes. And that's what Protandim NRF2 and NRF1 do. I want my protective genes to be turned back on. And I want those mitochondria genes, the ones that tell my body, hey, let's, increase the mitochondria. Let's have healthier mitochondria in the cells. I want that to happen too, because I need cellular energy. So that was episode 3, or it was episode 4, top episode 3. It's a little confusing. The second most popular episode of all time is also a little confusing. Second most popular of all time is episode number 3. And that one is all about thyroid labs. Because that one was so popular, I did a small series recently where I talked about T4, specifically all the different types of T4. And I did the same thing about T3. So those are more recent episodes. Episode number 3 is all about all of the thyroid labs, what's important and what you need to know. And I also did an episode, it was number 39, of how to get your own labs, because sometimes your doctor can't or won't order the labs that you want or need, and you can order your own labs, at least in the United States, and I teach you how to do that in episode 39. Hopefully your doctor can order exactly what you need, but sometimes the insurance companies handcuff them and tell them they cannot order what you actually need. They can only do what the insurance companies say. And like I said, Western healthcare is broken. So the second most popular episode of all time is episode number 3, and that is all about your thyroid labs. And then top episode number 1 is episode number 2. And that is, were you just diagnosed? Here are 3 things to do today. And I want to leave you with these 3 things. Do them every single day. And they're very simple, but they're things that we don't always do. And the first one is feel your emotions. Like, allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling. It's not bad. If you get your diagnosis and you're feeling relieved that finally you know a name for it, great, feel relieved. If you get your diagnosis and you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling confused, feel the emotions, don't just stuff them. I have heard it said by experts that an emotion, it takes you about 90 seconds to feel and process. And if you don't allow yourself to feel it, if you just stuff it, then it will come back later. It is like pushing a beach ball down under the water and it will pop back up. So just feel your emotions. Your emotions are not right or wrong. Taking action when you're feeling angry and lashing out, well, that can be wrong. Talk about that with my kids, but actually feeling the emotion, like feeling anger, feeling sadness, feeling happiness, feeling relief, feeling confusion, the emotions are not wrong. Feel your feelings and then breathe. Take some deep breaths with your belly. Breathe through it. It's okay. And then have compassion on yourself. You didn't cause this. You didn't bring it upon yourself. You might have taken some actions which did hasten this or triggered it, but it was not on purpose. And I don't want you to carry any guilt or shame. So the last thing in episode number 2 of Actions to Do Today is have compassion on yourself. You did not cause this. You're going to be okay. Come over to the app, share your story. and enroll in the Holistic Hashimoto's course, because that's going to shortcut your time. You can go back and you can listen to all 100 episodes. I am so grateful for everybody who listens. But if you want to shortcut your time, if you are new to this episode or to this podcast and to me, if you want to shortcut your time, join the Holistic Hashimoto's course. I give you everything that you're going to need step by step so that you can feel like yourself again. This podcast is for informational and educational purposes only. Please discuss any concerns and plans with your trusted healthcare professional. If you found this episode helpful, will you please share it with a friend? I'll see you next week on the Health with Hashimoto's podcast.